how accepting have people been towards Orthodox Africa?
People have been very receptive, very, especially the Africans. Culturally, they are very warm, accepting people, and especially in the early years as a combat vet who'd been kind of, ravaged by war. I think God provided more for me for working with the Africans, and a lot of healing and a lot of love. And I probably got more out of their acceptance and their love than I gave them in any of my works. So
You did mention in previous conversations that your drive is your goal is to get them to self-sustainability. And how do you get people to transition from a free handout to that?
well, with the missions that we adopt as Orthodox Africa, it starts with education. We really present, I present, my board members present a vision for self-sustainable missions, and then we take proactive steps towards achieving that goal. When I first landed in Nairobi, one of the first things that I did was I went to the Kibera slums of Kenya, which is the second largest slum in the world and the largest slum in Africa. It was about 1 million people crammed into a 3 square mile area. And at the time, there were less than a dozen toilets for all 1 million people, and, no real public utilities to speak of. So you can imagine the environment that confronted me. As I was going through there, I was talking to many different NGOs trying to figure out, okay, what can I do that will really make a difference? What can I do that will not compound a problem?
Although Orthodox Africa is relatively young, can you share some success stories on what you've been able to accomplish there?
St. Barnabas is a huge success story. When I first started working with them in early 2016, we had a dozen orphan boys in a 10 by 12 dirt shack with 4 bunk beds, I believe, and 2 mattresses on the ground. In just a few short years, we've been able to work with them to build a very nice facility that now cares for, I think they have 85 full orphans there and right around 200 students that are both half orphans and some paying students. And to backtrack, one of the things that I decided we needed to do for self-sustainable missions was to have our missions trade in a commodity that was both needed and affordable by the local population. So when I started talking to these missions, I was like, okay, I as a white man cannot come into your country and tell you how to solve your problems, but I can look at your problems with you and we can help find a solution together. But I want you to pick a commodity that you can trade in that's needed by the local population and affordable, and together we'll work together to make this happen. And so education was the commodity that they decided to trade in, because there's no free schools there. Everybody pays. So at St. Barnabas, the idea is to have enough paying students that will keep the school running and allow us to bring full orphans and other needy kids in and provide them with a education.
You're segueing great into some of these questions that I have ready for you. I mean, other than finances, what challenges your efforts in Africa?
It's very hard being away from the monastery, being away from the brotherhood, facing a lot of the spiritual warfare alone. There's just a multitude of temptations and dangers. And, one of the interesting things that I've thought about when you first came to me is St. John has truly built this mission in more ways than I can even begin to articulate to you. I feel like I'm working for St. John, that this is his mission, and I just happen to be his hands right this moment. And, there's been several times where he doubtless saved my life.
Can you share a story of one of your orphans?
This picture that I had set here is Marina and Spiridon. They're two of my the first godchildren, or two of the first children that I ever sponsored in Africa.
Can I just say that their smiles are priceless right there?
Yeah, and this was just a couple weeks ago. I went to Kibera to try to track them down and see. They haven't been in school, so I was trying to see what I could do. And actually, I love the picture because that's my smile too. Because I'm at home. the kids save me. You see the orthodoxy. How none of us are saved alone, and these kids are my salvation. And so, the grace of being there with them. As I said, they're in Kibera slums. The local gangs in the slums that control the clean water many times will demand that women submit to being raped in order to get clean water for their family. There's riots nearly, at least on a monthly basis, just tons of violence, both societal and domestic. The deck is absolutely stacked against, and I point to Marina, because I've got 47 godchildren, but Marina and one other, Sophia, have been just burrs in my heart somehow. Somehow they managed to be special, and they just really have dug into my heart. For many, many years, I have prayed every Pascha that God would resurrect my heart, that I could participate in his resurrection on a very real level. And this last Pascha, I kind of watched God flip my heart as the liturgy progressed. And I started to transform from a missionary priest to a father. Now, probably for our married listeners out there, that's kind of like a no-duh feeling. They can probably understand this on a visceral level. But for a monk, this was a very amazing discovery that I could have never imagined.
My name is Spiridon.
Spiridon?
Paris. My name is Paris.
Paris. And
My name is Marina.
in grade?
In grade 4.
In grade 4. And Dakar?
My name is Cecilia.
Uh-huh.
Not in school for. I left school because I had a baby, but I would like to go back and study. I was in Form 2.
In secondary school?
Yeah,
Form 2?
in secondary school, Form 2.
Okay.
My name is Samuel Karaoke, and I'm in standard 8. I would like to go back to school. I was not in school because of lack of fees.
No, it's overwhelming. You get all sorts of pleas for all sorts of different projects. But this is one way in which you can truly make a difference.